What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bangers Only podcast. You can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube channel. We got a new episode every Friday. And hope you guys enjoy this one.
Hello, everybody. We're back with another episode. This week, we're going to be talking about one of my favorite artists, which I'm really excited for.
Yeah, because last week, talked about Catfish. I got my feelings hurt. But it was a band that I really liked, and so now this is a artist that Clarke really likes. This was a really kind of like fun couple days for me listening.
That's
to
good.
music.
I'm glad. Because again, we have not talked about this before recording, so it'll be interesting to hear your thoughts. But yeah, we're talking about Denzel Curry. He's one of my favorite artists, honestly, ever. I love his music. I love his creativity. I love his progression as an artist. He's changed quite a bit. He's from Florida. First song of his that I ever heard was Ultimate, which is probably what a lot of people heard, their first song of his. What about you?
Honestly, I think that might be the only song that I recognize from him when I started listening. Like, being like, oh, crap, like, this was Denzel.
Yeah, I know.
Curry. Okay, my bad.
It always throws people for a loop, because, like, if they've heard that song and they know it's Denzel, I'll be like, oh, yeah, I love Denzel Curry. They'll be like, oh, the Ultimate dude? I'll be like, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
he has more music than that, but...
Yeah, but that was, like, the only one, like, when I listened to Ultimate, I was like, oh, he's the guy that did it, you know? It wasn't like, I don't know. I didn't really look too far into the song.
Yeah,
when I heard
exactly.
it the first time, you know?
Denzel he's incredibly high energy. He brings everything he possibly can to the table when it comes to his performance. And it's something that I found interesting just overall was seeing how he started out a lot more sloppy than he is now in terms of his energetic sound, because it kind of just at least with some of his transition projects, it sounded a little bit like he was kind of just messing around sometimes, especially on 32 Zell.
Yeah. 32 Zell was something else. Like, so, I mean, listening to all of his work, even, the stuff that he has on YouTube, he changes. And, the thing is for me though, is like, he would change for a couple songs and then I'd be like, oh, this is really good. And then he would just flip it back at the end. And you're like, wait, dude, like I liked this new Zell you had, I like this new Denzel. And then you just gave me the old Denzel, but I don't think it's like unintentional. It's super intentional when he does go back.
Oh yeah, especially on Taboo, which we'll talk about later. But
yeah, insanely. But yeah, man, you want to just kick it off with Nostalgic?
So Nostalgic 64 was his first kind of big project. He has something that I was kind of noticing just kind of overall first is that he goes from album to like mini album / like mixtape, then back to album. He does it like he's always done that. So like it went Nostalgic 64 as like a cohesive project, and then 32 Zell as kind of like it's supposedly a double EP. It's not really a cohesive album, and then to Imperial, which is obviously the album that kind of broke him as an artist into the critical world. Like when that came out, we'll talk about it later, but he really started getting a lot of praise from critics. And then 13 came out, which was like another transition project from album to album, and then Taboo came out. You kind of see the trend, how it goes from album to little mixtape type thing.
Yeah. But I think it's cool. I like that, like, I mean, it's cool because it gives an artist a lot of freedom. They can, like what we do a lot is you have a song or two, you're like, I like these songs.
Yeah.
They were fun to make, and I'm just going to put them out, So it's fun to put out mixtapes, and then while you're also, working on albums, because sometimes you write songs that just don't make it on the album, but you're like, just put it out.
And that's what I feel like
you know,
32 Zell is. That's what I feel like 13 is, and that's what I feel like Zoo is.
Oh, dude, that's exactly what Z was.
So yeah,
but yeah, I mean, Nostalgic was cool.
yeah, he was 23 at the time when
I
he
think,
released Nostalgic 64.
yeah. But you know what's crazy is like for this to be like his 2013. You said 2013, right? Yeah. So for this to be like a 2013 project, I feel like he took a really big step back when he did 32 Zell. Like I really loved Nostalgic. Like I was like, for me, if he had dropped Nostalgic after he did Zoo, I would have been like, no freaking way.
Yeah,
like this
it's
is
really good
stuff. Like I kind of want it remastered.
It's so good. It's so slept on too. It's not on Spotify.
I know, and that's the crazy part. But I really did like it. What are your thoughts
great.
on it?
I really like it. There was a reason why I told you to check it out, because I kind of forgot about it when I was like, when I knew that you were like listening to his music. But I'm glad that I thought about it. Mm-hmm. And I think it's such a good like intro project for like an artist. Like it starts out with that kind of like spooky like psychedelic intro, and then it's like you're putting a cassette in at the end of the intro, which was really cool, and it kind of like introduces his vibe, and then it goes into Zone 3, which is just such a banger. Mm-hmm. And then he talks about so many interesting things on here too. Like the song Parents is really interesting. The song Like Me is really interesting. He's telling,
I love
I know, like he's out here, awesome. He's talking about like him and a girl, and on this like boom bap type of beat. And it has like an R&B singer on the hook, which like you never hear from Denzel.
Yeah, you don't. And like, but for me, like, I think this is probably like the favorite beat I've heard him rap on. Like of all the songs I've heard, I think this was like the highlight, because when he had Stephen A. Clarke, you know, come in for the chorus with him, it was just like, this is great. And then the outro goes hard with the guitar at the end, because he switches it up to like a lo-fi vibe right after he like hits it hard with the guitar solo, and you're like, what? Is this the same song? I'm confused. You know? But definitely like my favorite song on Nostalgic 64 for sure, and I'm just upset it's not on Spotify.
Me too. It's because it's so like such a diverse style for him. Like he's clearly trying out so many different things on this project, and it shows like as an artist how he was kind of coming towards the person he is today. Like he's experimenting with stuff. Like the song Talk That Shit, it's just a total banger, and it shows the energy that he will constantly bring throughout the entire song and throughout his discography.
Yeah. No, yeah, I feel that. But I like, you know, you told me to listen. You said if you couldn't listen to the whole thing, at least listen to Parents and Denny Cascade, right? So I did. Parents was my second favorite song off this project. And then that chorus from Parents comes in with Ricky on his other
That's
song.
why I wanted you to listen to that.
Yeah, which is really cool. Yeah, it was really cool to listen to like, you know, Zoo, and then come back. Was it on? Yeah. It was on Zoo, right? Ricky.
It was a single.
Zoo. Okay, so I listened to Ricky, and then listening to Parents.
I know,
like,
it's so dope. It's so dope that he does that.
It was great. Yeah, it was cool. But okay, and then on Denny Cascade, like I wasn't really a fan of like the lyrics of like what was going on, but the beat, like, but without the beat, that song would have just been nothing.
Exactly.
You know, but then I like the way that it ended with the like a peaceful, like kind of like simple outro. You know, you can feel the emotion he just has for like his boys. Like, he's a super loyal dude. You know, and if you're not loyal to him, he lets you know.
His crew, his ULT.
All about
ULT.
ULT, baby. Yep.
It's so fun listening to Denzel Curry. That's the thing. It's just fun because it's so interesting. Like even on the song Denny Cascade, like the subject matters. It's for me, it like didn't even really matter when I was listening to that, because like his flow is so intricate on that song, and like it's so smooth. It like is just such a smooth song. So I love Nostalgic 64 as a project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you mentioned flow, and I'll be honest, like his flow on Nostalgic 64 is way better than 32, and I want to say even like
Really?
Imperial. You know, I mean he steps it up, but like at
Yeah,
least
32, I'd say
32.
so.
Imperial actually like I'm looking at my notes and I kind of like switched it up. I thought it was still part of 32.
Okay.
Don't listen to what I said. But you know what I'm saying? Like his flow was so much better on Nostalgic, and then he gets to 32 and I'm like,
I know, that's
having
kind
a
of the...
headache.
Okay, so you know how Logic released the like Bobby Tarantino mixtapes in between his albums? And like those things are
Yeah.
purely just to satisfy the fans who only like club bangers and shit like that. And Yeah.
But that's what they're for. Like that's
yeah, and
literally
so
the only reason
32
he makes
Zell
them.
is kind of like that for me, but it's kind of a miss in a way. Like it has songs that hit hard and all that, but it's just not like, I don't know, like it's definitely not his best work.
Yeah, I mean, you know, listening to it, I came up with like really like what he wanted to talk about. Like he just really wanted to get, like, I think it's like more like a homage
Yeah.
to where he grew
Same
up,
thing with Zoo.
you know, while also getting you hyped. He's dissing his haters,
Oh yeah.
and then he flexes on you, because why not, you know? But also, while I was listening to this, he gave me like very like weird Night
Yeah.
Ravel vibes, because it's like dark, and he did the same thing on every track that Night Ravel did, where he just records it like 7 times.
Oh yeah.
And he just layers it, and he's just
Especially
angry
on
and
Envy
screaming,
Me.
you know.
And that song is so Night Lavelle because of the Ronnie J beat. And I mean, we in the hip hop community, we all know Ronnie J. He's the dude who did all the old X songs, you know, like Sippin' Tea, In My Hood, and like Rip Roach, all that shit. So yeah, it's a very intense little double EP, 32 Zell.
Yeah, I love like how he like references kind of like pop culture, and he brings in other characters. Like he mentioned the Avatar, he mentioned the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and like for me, I was like, dude, I remember that show, and it's awesome because it's like you said he, well, how old is he now?
I don't know. If he was 23 in 2013, then he
I don't
is
know.
30 now, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know, but like it's kind of crazy to think like, oh, like he knows what this is about, you know? And I think my favorite reference or my favorite line, it was like 4 words in this whole album. He said shroomed like Mario Bros. And honestly, I lost my crap because I thought it was hilarious.
I can't wait to talk about the lines on Unlocked about, he said like flow scorch the back like it's Anakin. Did you
dude, oh, that made me,
Say,
I died.
I was
I
like,
literally died. I was rolling on my bed.
Bro, he references Star Wars so much in his lyrics, and it's so good.
I love it, but he does it so well. Like on Imperial, he has like 2 cool things. But let's focus on.
Bro,
Zell.
I'm glad that you enjoyed listening to this stuff as much as me, because it's so fun.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for his use of like pop culture and like being able to, you know, reference Star Wars and still have it work, is like that. I think that's what made it.
Because he doesn't care what people think,
You know,
like at all. He talks about Star Wars, Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
He's mentioned Thanos once. He talks about GTA
all the time.
like,
oh, dude, that was so funny. He was like Franklin's like Los Santos or something like that. Yeah, I remember like that was funny stuff, you know, and it was good. But definitely 32 is like your standard like trap album. You know, it's not really like mumble rap, but like he generally just finds one flow and he just sticks with it the whole song. It just gets repetitive and repetitive. And you know, I like to hear creativity in a verse and like switching up the flow, like, and like just dude, you know what I'm talking about when someone can switch up a flow.
Exactly.
And you're like, dude, that was dope. And then I think my favorite song, production wise, was probably Delusional Shown, and that just means like delusional hoe. But like the outro was amazing because of the guitar solo mixed with a trap beat was just hard. It was like incredible for me.
I like that song too.
Yeah,
I like
it was wild. Yeah.
I like Lord Vader Kush too. It's
That
just
one was
funny.
funny.
Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny.
You're just
Yeah.
like, you look at it and you're like, really? Lord Vader Kush? All
Yeah,
right, then.
exactly.
I guess
And what's
so.
crazy though is that like he dropped this a year before Imperial, and it's clear that this is like a collection of songs that like he wrote at very different like points of his life, or like not necessarily in 2015, because then Imperial comes out, and are we able to move on to Imperial now? Okay, so
Yeah, for sure.
Imperial comes out, and I don't know about you, but to me, ULT is one of the hardest intros I've ever heard in my life on any album.
Yeah.
Like,
It was hard.
I will tell you, back in high school, I would listen to this song before every single track meet just to get me hyped right before my races. It's just that type of song. But then, like, it's not just that though. So I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent about this song because it's like one of my favorite songs of his. It's a very deep song. So like while it's hard, it's also like way more than it seems. It's kind of about like revolution. Like it's written to incite like ideas and kind of stray away from the norm. He talks about like racial divides and police brutality actually on this song. And it's in a really angry and gritty way that like shows that he's kind of not tolerant of any of this stuff. He's basically like, you can't stop me, you can't stop my wave, you can't stop my clique. I am ultimate, and like that's my thing. I'm different and I'm powerful, and as black people, this is like, we're not tolerating any of this stuff right now. And it's like, it embraces black power, and it has so many like really nice quotables in there. Like I'm on the lyrics right now. Let me see if I can find one that I really like.
Honestly, that's what I noticed though, like right off the rip, was like that his writing and his flow
this
got way
song.
better. And like he's gotten more creative with his words. He's using bigger words. You know, and like that's not a diss. That's just like, dude, like when you can use a big word.
Yeah, I mean the way that song opens
and make it work. Yeah. It was just insane. You're just like, all right, fuck it, flex on me. I don't care, you know. But then he keeps going through the whole project, and he's just referencing Star Wars all the time, which I love. Mean,
it's amazing. And the way that song starts, because you said big words, it's just right off the bat. This is the wrath of Aquarius. I am the black metal terrorist. Ain't no comparison. Humanitarian, bitch. I'm a veteran, better than anyone comprehend. Like that wordplay is so hard.
Yeah, it was great. Like the black metal terrorist, like the fact that he just came up with that. I've seen like things that he drew, like what it would look like or something like that, or somebody did, or he got it from somewhere. Like there's an image for like the black metal terrorist. It's funny.
He's such an interesting dude. Like he has so much going on up in his head. Like you just know when you listen to his music. And that song, Story with No Title, when he says like, who said Jesus can't be a black guy? Even Luke Skywalker's father was on the dark side. Whew.
Exactly. That was great. I actually loved like the first two lines of this song where he says like, come up in this game, now my idols is my rivals. Right? And for me, like I've talked about this multiple times to people, but like, when I was growing up in high school and, playing football, when I was a freshman, dude, trying to like work out with all these seniors that were just jacked, I was like, intimidated because I didn't know how to lift weights yet, And I remember I was just like scrolling through Instagram or something, and then I saw like this thing. It was like, if you want to be great, like train until your idols become your rivals, and so that's what I did. I put in the work and I worked hard, and little by little, all the guys I looked up to, I was about to outbench them or about to, outwork them all the time and taking their starting spots. And so for me, like this one hit home, and I was like, this is a good song already. I can
Story
tell.
with No Title is a banger. I mean, it's so good. And it's interesting you mentioned the idols become rivals line because Rick Ross, who's also from Miami, who features on this album, he's one of the few features. He has a song called Idols Become Rivals or something. I don't remember, but it was a diss towards Birdman. Came out a couple years ago. But I just thought it was interesting because you mentioned that, and I was like, oh, the two Miami artists who kind of like linked up on here, and also on Zoo, I believe they had a track together.
Yeah, I think they did. I wasn't a fan of that one, I'll be honest. But back to Imperial, like, I feel like if you look at this song, you can split it up into two parts.
Yeah.
Or not this song, this album. You know, like you can split it up because the styles in the beginning, you know, not right in the middle, but like, you know, a little bit farther than that. He changes his style and like it's great. You know, and for me, I was like, all right, is this symbolic of him moving on from who he was? Because, you know, he liked to talk about like where he was from. He was like, you know, saying like, you know, where he is now dealing with success, saying he's not going to let the money get to him. He's dissing all these people, like, you know, trying to say that he's a sellout, you know, but like, then he switches up his style and I'm like, ooh, you know, I like this. And I'm like, you know what? And now he already grinded here and he's just going to keep grinding and because he's onto something new.
Yeah.
And I loved
it's so cool. Cause it's like the way, like we said, the way it starts up, it's like he's opening this album with basically asserting his dominance with ULT. And then with the song Gook, it's not, by the way, the derogatory term towards Asian people, but in Miami it's slang for being like a weirdo and like lame, basically. And he's embracing that in this song. Like it starts out, he's saying, I'm a gook, and it's just basically embracing what people think about him, and he's again saying, I don't really care. And then that in that first half of the album, you know, with Naughty Head with Rick Ross, I love that song. It's cool. I think the Rick Ross feature is great because it like takes you back from Denzel's intense flow, and it's just Rick Ross.
It gives you a little break from him screaming at you all the time. But I think for me, my favorite part of his like transition was hearing
That's a good
Night.
song.
It was just like, it was nothing like I've ever heard Denzel do. And like not that it freaked me out, but like I was like, all right, Denzel, like what are you going to do with this? You know, like I was curious, and not that I was worried, but I was just more curious cuz he has never done a song like that. And then 12, is it 12?
I don't know. I think so.
I would say it's 12 because that makes sense. But like, dude, they appear on like a lot of his songs all the time. Like at least on every project he has 12 because like why not? You know, but you know, and 12 popped off right after on, you know, if Tomorrow's not here.
I love that song.
To like, yeah. And like for me, you know, listening to it, hearing this transition, it went right into Taboo.
For sure. I mean, like,
you know,
because that song, it's like he's talking about his fears with like growing larger in the industry and like what might come with that. And that's literally what Taboo is about. But he's already there by the time Taboo comes around, and it's just the descent into darkness. But we'll talk about that in a second. How do you feel about the Joey Badass feature on Zenith?
I liked it. I thought like I said, like this whole second half was like not bad, not gonna lie. And I mean, like I'm not a big fan of Joey Badass, but like I think he kept the general gist of the song. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't try and like change anything. He didn't try to steal the song.
Yeah,
just like,
it was very fitting.
You know, it's like two guys walked in the studio and just were like, "Dude, you want to just have some fun? Yeah, let's do it." And they just had fun.
The features are very well selected, and then because he doesn't have a lot of features, you know, he's just not that type of artist. Because like he'll have a song like This Life where he's singing the hook and like rapping the verses, like doing it all, and I love that song too. He just pulls off that vibe really well. But yeah, I guess we can talk about Taboo now. Or should we talk about 13? Because it's like in between.
I didn't really like write notes on it. I just listened.
Yeah,
to
we don't
it
have to talk much about it because it's kind of like the same type of thing as 32 Zell, because it's just like it's quick. It's like 4 songs, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It was all right. I don't know. I don't really have much to say about it. I kind of felt like an extension of like 32 Zell. Like maybe songs that didn't make it. And he's like, put them together, put them out.
The beats were cool. They're very gritty, very like interesting. But so Taboo, the way that Imperial, like we said, kind of melts into that project is really interesting. First, I'm kind of going all over the place. I think I'll just kind of like say my general thoughts about Imperial, because I kind of wanted to just address like overall as a project. I love this album. It's one of my favorite albums. Definitely want to get it on vinyl for my record player someday. But I think that this album is when he really started breaking out like of his shell. His lyrics hold much more weight. They're about very like important things. And he's always been like very good at writing hooks, but at this point they're so catchy and they're so good, and like he just totally knows what he's doing. He's totally in his element with Imperial, and I think every song is super consistent on Imperial.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think for me, like my biggest like takeaway what impressed me the most was just his writing. You know, and that translates into writing better, catchy hooks, and just being overall like, you know, progressing as an artist. So that was really good to hear in Imperial.
And what's cool about that too, like what you said, is just the progression. Because like you listen to Ultimate, like the old song, and it's just like not what you would expect from him if you listen to Imperial first. You know what I mean? But anyways, Taboo. This album is so interesting to me. Like, so at this point, Denzel has proved his longevity as an artist. Like, he's not just a one-hit wonder. And he didn't just, like, peak at Ultimate. You know how a lot of artists would just, like, peak when they have a song that, like, is enormous that. But instead, he got, like, so much better. But this album kind of shows, like, the darker side of his mental. You know what I mean? And so the album is split up into 3 acts, basically 3 discs, quote unquote. And the way that I kind of saw it, and the way that I kind of, because I did some research about, like, because I want to see what other people might think, is that it's kind of like the light act is the first disc, then the gray act, kind of middle ground, is the second disc, and the dark act is the third one. And you really get that from the vibe of it, just the instrumentals, and also how he's discussing the topics.
Yeah. I saw that too, and I read that when I was researching. And then, you know, I started listening, and, you know, off the rip, you can tell his style is different. You know, on the beginning, on the light part.
Yeah, with Taboo.
Disc 1. His writing, you know, it got way better. And he had stuff you're like, dude, like, there's no way this is Denzel. From everything I've heard, like, this is crazy. You know, his rapping got way better too. Like, I feel like he was being a lot more like chilled and having more fun than like trying to just hype.
Especially on like Black Balloons, you know, that second song. I love that song.
Yeah, that one he's just like having fun with it, and like I feel like when I say he took a step back, I'm not saying like, you know, like creatively and like as a musician. I'm saying like he's like in his own mind, like, okay, let me just take a step back and not go too hard and just be a little bit more relaxed. And that's all I had to say.
Yeah, and that's definitely what he's trying to show with that first act, like the first 4 songs. Because Taboo, the first song, It's like it's an intense song, but it's not like typical intense for Denzel Curry. Like it's intense in its like in its purpose in a way. Like he talks about someone he loves who like suffered from like molestation when they were younger, and he says that like he relates because he too was molested, and then he talks about how like maybe their relationship could be a way to like heal the wounds, but it's clear that he's like upset and like dealing with this, but it's and then because then it bleeds into Black Balloons, the second song, where he's kind of like trying to hide the fact that he's upset, and it's tragic, but it's like it keeps that light theme, and it's almost like part of his life where he's covering up the wounds. And same with Cash Maniac, because he's covering it up with the cash. He's like numbing the pain with the money, you know what I mean? And then Sumo is like a transition to the second act, because it's like he's angry, he's like, but he's still trying to flex, you know what I mean? But he's kind of going down this dark road.
Yeah. But I also liked how basically in his song Taboo, he basically said, this is what the project's about. Like he basically laid it out saying, we're going to transition on each disc. Like you're going to hear different sides of me on each disc. And he let you know that from the beginning. And, like, you know, not a lot of people do that. They want you to interpret it, but he was like, he laid it out for everyone. He was like, you don't have to guess. Here's what's going to happen.
Exactly. It's,
you know. And I think for me in this first disc, I really liked Sumo only because he mentioned Rikishi. Yeah, he mentioned Rikishi, and when I was little, I was a huge fan. He did that. The only reason why is because of his move. He would like throw his opponents into a corner. He would lift up his wrestling underwear, and then he would look at the crowd and he would like back up into like his opponent's face and just rub his nasty, grimy, sweaty, like butt in their face, and they'd be like suffering, and you knew they weren't just acting; they were really suffering.
Bro,
you know what I'm saying? But like for me, I was like, dude, like the fact that he mentioned Rikishi, like he's getting to me, man.
His references are always just
great.
Top notch. I love it.
Yeah. But then, you know, you move into part 2, and that's when things start to get a little bit darker, talking about mental health, suicide, and how he's dealing with the struggles of success, you know? And it's crazy to think, like, wait, you're struggling with success? Like, dude, like, a lot of crap happens, you know? Like, things change when you get successful, and it's like, it could be a struggle to deal with all that, and it sucks.
Yeah, and he's clearly dealing with a lot, but he's still, like, trying to like keep up his persona as an artist, but like it's clearly difficult for him, because like on the song Switch It Up, I think that song is so interesting because he's like, it has the theme of like addressing like bipolar and like disorder, and it has pretty obvious like juxtaposition throughout the whole song. Like he contradicts himself like all the time. His voice is all over the place in terms of its like inflection, and it just furthers the theme of that song as it goes on. And the song Sirens really seems like a turning point.
Yeah, like in Sirens, like honestly it was really hard to listen, and I'm glad. Do you say JID or JID? JID? Yeah, it's just easier to say JID. But like, you know, with JID on it, it just, I feel like it made it hurt more, because like, you know, they were both like really emotional on this song, and they were speaking real shit. And also Billie Eilish sang the chorus
like,
for that.
I read, and
yeah, and they didn't give her credit for it, but she did.
It was interesting. That was, when did this album come out? 2018. So she was in the infancy of her career too, at that point.
Yeah, like she was just starting, and for her to make it on a Denzel Curry like album, like, and especially a project like this wasn't just like a standard album. Like this was purposeful, you know. And I'm not a huge Billie fan, but it added an emotional aspect because I know who she, like, I know the
Yeah,
music
exactly.
she makes.
And that song is, you got to listen to it so many times because he's talking about so much like really political shit about America, the state of America. And this is early in the Trump era too. So like the road is getting dark. But it's a less personal song than the other ones, but it still fits in with the gray section because it's talking about just life in America as like all this shit is going down. And I think the features are really well placed on this song. Like Jid's feature is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved it. He was just going for it, and you couldn't help yourself but feel it while you were listening to it. Like you were moving even if you didn't think you were.
Yeah, exactly.
You were doing something. It was a good song. And then he follows it up with freaking Clarke Cobain.
Yeah, Clarke Cobain.
And like I felt like that was just a perfect way to end part 2. Disc 2, because he talked about suicide, and also like how people would just try to sabotage him to get their own clout. Like they'll do that, and it's
good too because he's very upfront with what he's talking about in this song. Like he's not sugarcoating it, and like the title of the track explains it perfectly. It's like people will do once you get the clout, there's dangers that come with fame and clout, and it's like what it does to your head and your mental. It's dark and it creates a dark road.
Yeah. And the title, like you said, explains itself. Like clout, the fame, and then if you know who Kurt Cobain is, you know what happened. So, like the way he was able to like lyrically do it, I thought it was perfect,
brilliant.
And after this song, it's just you hear a completely different like third.
Oh my god, yeah!
Of this whole,
it's just chaos,
and it really is. But like, you have to think like how did we get to this point? We start lighthearted. We start going through what's on his head, like what's in his mind, like what's on his heart, And then you get into disc 2, and he's starting to talk about mental health, and you're suicide.
Like, oh,
it's like damn, like okay, like, and then you get into 3, and you're like, what, dude?
I know like I said, the feature on like Sirens was really well placed, but if you think about like the JPEG Mafia feature, like, why would you not have them on a song where you're trying to convey like chaos and the theme of the song Vengeance was just literally vengeance on your enemies and shit. And JPEG Mafia fits in perfectly. And then also kind of going back to like the first disc, I think the Gold Link feature was really well placed too, because it's like really lighthearted and bouncy, and like it's Gold Link, you know what you expect when you listen to Gold Link. But like JPEG Mafia is like totally different.
Yeah. But like I think when you get to the third part, in my mind, he starts going back to of Denzel Curry. And he goes back to the dissing and honestly, I heard him like basically diss all the new mumble rappers, because if you think about it, like when this came out in 2018, like that's when mumble rappers were popping off. Like all these SoundCloud mumble rappers just like coming out and be like, look at me, like they were just doing stupid shit, and people sometimes still like them. A lot of them, I don't even
like
think
Lil
we hear them
Pump,
anymore.
Like, dude is completely irrelevant now.
Yeah, he's irrelevant. I mean, I haven't heard him make anything like new that was decent.
No.
But none of his stuff was really decent. It was all just hype music.
What's really funny about you saying that about the mumble rappers is, so I don't know if you watch ever like the XXL ciphers, cause with the freshman list they do every year. Okay, well, so in 2016, Denzel Curry was a freshman on that list. And the class was so bad. And I'm going to offend some people when I say this, but I'm not a fan of 21 Savage, of Lil Uzi. And like, okay, that's the class at that point for XXL. was starting to really go downhill. Like and since then I don't even pay attention anymore because they're so bad. Like the people they choose for their freshman list. And Denzel Curry was worlds ahead of all these guys, and he was in a cipher with 21 Savage and Lil Uzi, and it was just bad. And it was
like you saying that, the fact that he was in a class with both of them, I'm like, you're kidding.
Exactly.
Like he's way above them. Like his music, like the quality of what he puts out is way above both of those guys. Like 21 Savage, like you said, I'm not a huge fan. I'll listen to his music because he has shit that's like, all right, like I can bump this, you know. But I am not a fan. I don't think not that he doesn't have talent. It's just like, dude, like there's no creativity here. Honestly,
here, let me look up the class for that year because it was
so bad. But you know what I'm saying? Like, this was in the end, like, he started off by, like, just dissing all these mumble rappers. He even, like, mocked him as
yeah,
he was
and, like,
rapping.
you get the vibe. Hilarious. He knows he's better than these people. And it's not really fair to, like, compare them. So, so they separate the ciphers. Like, they separate the class into different ciphers. And usually they do it based on, like, artist similarity. At least that's what I feel like. Like, I remember back in the day, like, when it was really good, like, they had, like, I don't know, but people can go check those out. But he was in a cipher with Kodak Black, 21 Savage, Lil Uzi, Lil Yachty, and him. So
you're kidding.
Like
the fact that like
no,
oh my, you're kidding.
Yeah, that was,
he was in all of them.
He had to basically and sit there while they freestyled and were absolutely horrendous in their performances. It's a meme, but it's kind of funny. You should go listen to it when we're done with this. It's kind of funny.
I will actually. That sounds like something I will do. Okay. Actually, I have work tomorrow, so I won't. But like you know, the content of this third disc was hella dark. And even with the lighthearted outro of Vengeance, you could still feel there's dark energy in there. You know,
for sure,
there's a lot of dark energy, and like. Even like you know, if you listen to it, you're like, okay, what an outro, but it's fucking dark.
Yeah,
it's scary.
It is.
You know, but I did like the fact that he went back to like old Denzel kind of, because I feel like that's symbolic to, you know, because he talked about all the struggles, and he you know he's going through being successful. And I feel like he thought it would be really different than, you know, what he already had. I feel like he thought it'd be easy when he did 32, Zell, and then like Imperial, and then now he's at Taboo, and he's like, dude, it's not much different. I'm still struggling with
definitely
shit. Like life's not easy.
And the album Taboo is so like stripped down and honest, you know, like it's like we've been talking about. It's just what he's dealing with. And that's what you want from artists nowadays. Like, you want to hear them being honest and real about how they're feeling. At least I do.
Yeah. But, yeah, man. I mean, the third act is freaking something else. It can give you a headache, you know, but if you stick through it, you kind of see it go full circle.
Definitely. It's crazy intense.
Especially when you have listened to all the other Denzel stuff. Like, it kind of made me sad at first when he was going back to old Denzel. I was like, dude, you started off so good. But then I was like, nah, he's kind of going back to his roots. Like, I'm not... And
you kind of realize, like, the purpose of it.
Yeah, you realize why he's going back there. And it's... Dude, it was good. It was a good project. Yeah, I liked it. Like I said, at this point in his career, he's proved his longevity, and people love it. And it's so fun being a fan of his because, like you said, he stays true to himself. He stays true to his roots, and that's fun. But Zoo, 2019, next project. Zoo is a reference to where he grew up, right? That's that's what they would call it.
And also, the whole album is like about where he came up. So, yeah, it's.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Of all the stuff he's made, this was my
I actually agree with you.
And the reason why is because, I mean, we've talked about he's really, you know, loyal. He likes to you know, shout out his boys and stuff. But it's like, dude, you've done that for like 4, you know, what was that, 4 projects already, you know, and like we get it, but it's like,
Zoo again, it's one of those transition projects. It's kind of hard that he does this, because it's like they honestly just don't hold as much meaning as the other projects. Like this is not on the level of Imperial or Taboo or Nostalgic 64. Like it's not, and I think he knows that though. It's just, it's kind of weird, because it's like,
yeah, I don't know what this was. You know, like for me it felt like he just took all his songs, like all the lyrics from his other songs, and just put them on top of different beats. And I wasn't happy, and I, you know, when I listened, I felt the frustration that you had last week listening.
That's
to Catfish.
totally fair.
And I was like, there's no new content here. But the only thing I did like was the skit, yo.
I love that.
Yeah.
That skit.
And honestly, I think I'm gonna take that up. Like, you'll be like, what's up, man?
It's so funny. I don't know why it's so good.
Yeah. He's like, what? He even called it as like, watch. Look, listen to this guy talks. Watch, listen. Like, you know? And he's like, that girl's gonna be there. Yo. He's like, you gonna be there? Yo.
It's so funny. I love it.
It was great, you know? But back to the music content. I honestly wasn't intrigued by this project at all. Like off the rip, I was like, I'm already bored of this. Like,
I am with you. And what's weird is that, like, you know that he can do better, but like he will, because like he's purposefully putting these transition projects out, and it's just weird to me, because it's like, we know that you will put out something better after, which he does. We'll talk about Unlocked, but I freaking loved Unlocked. We'll talk about it in a sec.
Oh
but
gosh. Can't wait.
This just like it wasn't that long, because it's like full of skits too. But it's like, again, it's the same thing as 32 Zell, where it's kind of a filler project to keep the fans satisfied, which is cool that he does, but it's not his best stuff.
Yeah. And I think I don't think I liked any of the features on here. Like, none of these features blew me away. None of them, like, I feel like even met Denzel Curry's verses. I was just like, oh my gosh, really? Like, did he owe you a favor? Or like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, or his
what's
energy.
happening?
Like, they just didn't seem like they had the same energy that he had.
Yeah, like, it just didn't feel right to listen to. And when it was over, I was like, thank gosh, I'm going to bed. You know, I was so happy it ended. And for me, that's rare. I'm normally sad when projects end, but I was happy when this one did. I was sad when Yo ended, you know? I only got 1 minute and 4 seconds of Yo.
Yeah, it's depressing. Just weird, because it's not your typical like artist fall off. You know what I mean? Because it's just not that. Like, we just know that he does this at this point, and it's kind of like, oh, okay, it's not for me. You know, he'll put out something better.
Yeah.
Like, because Taboo is so different than Zoo, and it's just it's really just feels like a compilation of songs that he threw together to keep the hype.
Yeah, man. So do you want to go on to Unlocked?
Sure. Because I think we said all we needed to say about Zoo.
Yeah, there's nothing else really about.
What's weird too, just one last side note about Zoo, is that like I know a lot of people liked it a lot, and like I don't really like, it just wasn't for me. Yeah, it's not his best work, and I'm okay with criticizing it too, because it's like we said, I feel like he knows this.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, Unlocked 2020.
Oh wait, I have one more comment though on Zoo.
Okay. No,
he likes to mention Tree, and like in every project he's done, he's mentioned Tree, and that's his brother that he's talking about. Yeah, whenever he mentions like someone like, oh, so and so Tree, like that was the nickname. I think it was like basically I think his brother was fighting someone, and then he got like his head busted into a tree, and then they just gave him the nickname Tree. You know, after that, and I think his brother passed away. I don't know when, but like it's cool that like he's always referencing him, you know, kind of like reminiscing about the times or like saying like this is who I know Tree is.
Yeah.
But you know, I think I kind of want to like get that out there because he's mentioned him on every project so far, and then he doesn't mention him on Unlocked, which is weird.
Yeah. Again, like Zoo it's like hearkening to his home, his people, like we know. But Unlocked, it's a compilation, or it's a not a compilation. It's a what's it called? When a collaboration album with Kenny Beats. My guy Kenny Beats. Let me just preface by saying, you are amazing.
He is.
He's so good.
Oh, dude, it's great. Like, if you don't know who Kenny Beats is, like he produced the song "Phone Numbers" for Dominic Fike that we talked about Dominic Fike a month ago or 2 months ago, and he also did a song he did "Hit Me Up" for Omar Apollo and Dominic Fike, and like when I saw Kenny Beats attached to this project, I was like, oh, this is gonna be solid. I'm not even worried.
He is talented.
He's dominant, dude.
Like,
he really is.
Oh my lord. The song Diet, when those 808s, you just hear them in the back of your head and then they come up front like they're falling down some stairs or something. It is so cool. Like, the production on this project is insane. And I'll say that, but also Denzel is not overshadowed by it. He comes to play here. This
is like, I think this might be. Did I already say I had a favorite project?
No, maybe. You didn't.
I think this was my favorite from him. Why? Because I feel like this is where Denzel's lyrical ability, like, peaked. Not peaked, but it's better than anything I've heard in this project.
So what's interesting about that, the way I feel, is that he is here on this project for the punchline bars. Like, he's here to show off his lyricism. The other projects is more subject matter, more coherent, complete songs. This is literally him spitting bars on this project. Like, oh my god, on Take It Back, the second song on there.
Yep.
Like, stank face throughout the entire song type. Like, he... I wish I could, like, remember just some of the quotables on this.
Yeah.
Or sticking to the paper like a thumbtack.
Yeah.
That bar.
I don't know, but I really like the little beep, 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 beep. And, like, the way that, like, freaking Kenny Beats is able to make these, like, funky, weird, and, like, intricate beats, and then you have Denzel come on it and just, like, fucking spit some bars.
Just tear it apart.
It's just great. Like, the way they're able to work together is amazing.
It's one of the best collaboration projects I've ever heard.
Yeah.
The way that they complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even like I was so taken off guard when I first listened to this, because I was like, wait, this is so good. Like, they not that I don't expect less from Denzel, but like the two of them as a duo. And like, this project was attached to like a series of like animated stuff and like videos and shit that I didn't get the chance to watch, but
I didn't get a chance to watch them either. But I know there's like one of the songs, I think it was track 7. One of the songs, it's like a fucked up thing they did or something weird. I don't remember. Like, they're supposed to be like, it's supposed to be like about both of them. It's weird, but I want to watch them.
Yeah, I want to watch them too, because I feel like they're both really creative and it'd be cool. I mean, look at the album cover. Like, what is that?
This is great. And then, like, you know, the style of music, you know, with Kenny Beats producing it was incredible. You know,
it was.
I liked pretty much all the songs, you know, and it was music that I know that if I want to, I could just put it on and vibe to it. And the only reason is because Kenny Beats killed every single one of the songs, and then Denzel came on and kind of elevated it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
because like they released the instrumental pack too, and so it's like you can listen to that, but it's just not the same. Like, they're amazing, but it's like Denzel's there too.
Like, you know, they're both amazing, but when you put them together, it's like, what the heck?
I know, it's like one of those just pairs, like match made in heaven type of thing.
Goddamn. And I also like the concept of these being, like, lost files.
Yeah.
You know, of like their collaboration. Because if you look at all the titles, they're like all of them are just. It looks like when you bounce a track and then you send it to somebody, and like it's crazy because we always send each other audio files like this, and they just come in randomly like this.
Random names with
like take it back _V2. Like I'll send you things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like, what did you change? Oh, I just changed this. Oh, okay.
Like track 01.
Track 1, track 7, and there's not even a space between it, you know? Like just the little tiny details.
It's so cool. This project was just so cool to me. Like I'm trying to like figure out what to like say because you just have to listen to it because it's so interesting. It's so different, and the style is like it's not your 2020 rap. Like it was so refreshing for me to hear. I think that's what I'm trying to say is that like we haven't heard a rap album this good in a long time.
Yeah,
but
he does talk about a lot of the same stuff that he already has. You know.
Yeah.
But I feel like with the way he does it with the music, he's not screaming at you. It's chill. It's laid back. He's still flexing. He's warning people to stay the fuck away from him, you know? But he's just having a lot more fun, I think, with this.
Yeah, he's asserting his dominance, just being himself. Yeah. And, okay, I was thinking earlier, if I were to, like, kind of categorize his rapping style on this project, I would say MF Doom meets DMX. I
can respect that.
Like, put like the lyrical genius of MF Doom with the energy that's honestly, of DMX.
I think when I was listening to this project, I was like, who can I relate this to? Like, I feel like this fits like a certain person's like style. And then you just said MF Doom, like, dude, totally.
Yeah, because the beats are kind of like retro, like boom bap, but they have the hard hitting like modern day 808s.
Yeah.
And I knew
Kenny. I love Kenny's tag. Do you like, you know? He's like, whoa, Kenny. Like, dude, it's just so good.
It's dope. But, like, when I listened to this, I knew that you would like this and it might be your favorite project. Because I was like, okay, you're going to totally respect the production of this project.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so good. You got to listen to it with headphones on.
Headphones, for sure.
Like, good headphones.
Yeah. I mean, if they're not good, like, bump it up a little bit more. Not all the way. Don't kill your ears, but, like, bump it. You know?
Yeah.
But take the time to listen. Don't just put on the background. You actually got to listen. You know?
For sure.
And, you know, I talked about Tree earlier, and, like, this was the only project he doesn't mention Tree.
Yeah, interesting.
And so, like, you know, I don't know what that was about. I don't know if I'm, like, I missed a line where he mentioned Tree. But I don't really think he talked about him. And I don't know. It just kind of like, not that it blew me away, but I was just like, interesting. Like, why not?
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe it might have just not been the space for that, you know? Like, maybe. Because this wasn't like a concept project in a way. I mean, I might have to watch the videos to truly understand.
Yeah. I'm going to watch them for sure. But yeah. One more thing, though. Did you listen to Denzel's Bulls on Parade?
His what?
His cover of Bulls on Parade.
I haven't.
No?
Wait, is that one of those like heavy metal covers?
It's a song by Rage Against the Machine.
Oh yeah, I did hear that.
You did hear, right?
Yeah.
Dude, it was really, I liked it, you know? Like, it was cool because at first he did sound like Zach De La Rocha, you know? Mm-hmm. He sounded like him, but then after you're like, nah, this is Denzel. By the way he's saying certain words, by the way he's like, you know, he has different breathing, you know, it's like, it's Denzel, you know, and it's iconic and it's a song from my childhood, but it was nice to hear him switch it up and do something that's a little bit more out of his genre, but I felt like it fit for like, it's something that Denzel would be happy to do.
Definitely. I mean, like, what rapper is going to go and cover a Rage Against the Machine song?
Machine Gun Kelly did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did it with Travis Barker. And then theirs was insane, and like they made a video for it. If I can find it, I'll send it to you. It was about like all the Black Lives Matter movements and stuff. It was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
It was intense. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. But when I saw that Machine Gun Kelly one, I was like, oh, okay. And then I saw that he had a song, and I was like, no way. Like, I need to listen. I listened. I was not disappointed.
Yeah, Denzel's so talented. Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's not much more I can say about Unlocked. You just got to go listen to it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, you got to listen to for yourself. Listen to everything.
Yeah, as always, form your own opinions.
Yeah, these are just our thoughts from, you know, like a musician, artist, songwriter, producer, and then just, you know, a regular fan.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these are just our opinions. And always we encourage you to make your own.
Definitely. And I guess we'll just kind of end it by saying, like, Denzel Curry is, for me, he's one of my favorite artists. He's so versatile. And he is on my bucket list for people I want to see live. And I'm very disappointed that back in I believe it was 2016 for his Imperial tour, he came to Portland, a small venue, and it was like $13, and I didn't go because I'm stupid. Like, why would I not have gone to that? That would have been the most insane concert. Like, have you seen it? You probably haven't, but go watch a video of him performing like any song live, and it's Denzel Curry bringing his energy.
Dude, I'd be down to go to a concert with you.
We should. If whenever he drops his new album or whatever, or if he goes on an Unlocked tour.
Dude, if he goes on an Unlocked tour, oh my goodness, I'd be dead.
I would
probably die before we get there of excitement.
Same. I'd probably have to bring earplugs.
Maybe, yeah. I'd be so excited for that. I'd be so down. You don't even know.
Okay, yeah, that's on the bucket list for sure.
For sure. Yeah, but honestly, man, like, this was a good pick for this week. I had fun. I was able to, like, expand my, like, library a bit.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad.
Yeah. Way different than last week's group. But, you know, there was a reason why all their shit sounded the same. They wrote them all at the same time.
Yeah.
But, you know, Denzel definitely kind of likes to jump around, which is, honestly, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's respectable because, like, he has such versatility. He has the talent to be versatile. It's hard to be versatile.
Yeah. No, this was good stuff, man.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was a little worried. I don't know why. Because I know that you respect good music, and he's phenomenal. But I'm really glad you enjoyed it and actually had fun listening to it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun, honestly. Like, I was actually excited to listen instead of, like, when we listened to other guys, we're like, dude, that was just rough. You know,
honestly, I have not had an artist that I've had, like, this much fun, like, re-listening to, at least. Because, like, even with Frank Ocean, who I just love, it was a little depressing at times, especially with Blonde. But, like, this was just so fun. It went by so fast.
Yeah, this definitely did. Like, I was like, wait, I only have one more project. This sucks.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, damn. Like I said, I'm normally sad when the music ends, and the music ended. You know, like, there was nothing else I could really listen to. And that was it for me, man. You know? That was sad.
Well, hopefully we hear him drop some stuff. Absolutely. I mean, they just did Unlocked in February, so it probably won't be for a bit. But he drops a lot, so.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a wrap on Denzel for right now, you know?
Yeah. That's all I got to say. He's one of my favorites. Go check him out.
Yeah. Yeah, check him out. Add him to your library. You know, have some fun with it. Form your opinion. Let us know. Why
exactly. Not? And let us know who else you want us to cover, as always, because obviously we have plenty of ideas, but it's fun to hear what other people like to listen
Except,
to.
honestly, No Country, you know. I don't know if I can do it. Unless we do, like, Joe Exotic, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the podcast, I don't think anyone who listens to country is still listening to the podcast.
Yeah, I think they're gone, for sure. Which I'm not sad about.
No, yeah. I mean,
but it happens. All right, guys. Well, you know, as usual, I'm Adrian.
I'm Clarke.
And we'll catch you guys next week.
Peace.
T2 made that.